I stand with the Yellow Vest protesters. By sharing this, I am publicly voicing my support for the people in France and everyone around the world who is standing up against government corruption, which is all governments, because they're all in it together. MPs, you have a simple but clear choice: no deal or no seat. Why do we call it alternative medicine when it is original medicine that humans have used for thousands of years? Modern medicine was only discovered 100 years ago. Israel has broken 65 UN resolutions with no consequences. Iraq broke too, got invaded, bombed and destroyed. Yvette Cooper betrayed her 70% Leave constituents. Vote her out. Remove her. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words, and you can see there. These are paramilitary. These aren't police. These are paramilitary. And of course, you'll see them with their rucksacks, and so they just take the helmet off, stick it in the rucksack, and take the red armband off, and they're just a normal guy in the streets. But if he's got a hammer like that, it's not there for the benefit of the French people. It's there to smash the faces in. You want to know what a dictatorship looks like? Look at France. That's what they got planned for the rest of us as well. Deselect campaign gathers speed. Are you a Conservative member? Email us at info@leave.eu to deselect your Remainer MP. And I think that would be the best thing to do. Get them out, show them that well, the best thing would be storm Parliament, drag them all out and make them pay for the criminality. But seems the UK seems to have lost its backbone somewhere again. Gets it back from time to time, then loses it again. Don't know why. Measles update. Breaking news. We're going to feed you a load of bullshit about unvaccinated kids starting measles outbreaks, so we can scare people into vaccinating their kids with the MMR and demonise informed parents. We won't tell you that on the MMR package insert. It states typical measles has been reported as an adverse reaction, and many peer-reviewed scientific studies show this vaccine sheds and is the cause of nearly all measles outbreaks. We also won't tell you measles is a very mild illness in healthy children. We just want you to spread propaganda. I don't have to shoot you. All I have to do is step away. You need me more than I need you. And that puts it in perspective. Because if we ever did leave, and leave as in cut all ties, get lost, go away, not have no to do with you, the whole EU would collapse. German economy would collapse, followed by the EU. It would be game over. And that's why these criminal bastards in Parliament want to make a deal, because any deal is treason, plain and simple. Any deal is treason. May's already guilty of it, but she's already on the list, as you know. No deal. Save 39 billion. New trade deals. Make our own laws. Control our borders. Preserve the union. Scrap regressive tariffs. Reclaim our fishing waters. Restore faith in democracy. Northamptonshire's bankrupt council give an OK for a 2% tax hike. Local government secretary decision pushes costs of failure on to local people, critics say. So let's just take a step back and have a look at this. So a bent council, because they're all bent, they're all corrupt, they're all crooked, that has been given billions of pounds to run the little place, Northampton, has done such a shit job, they've lost all the money. So what we'll do is we'll give them the right to still further 2% off you, because hopefully they'll do a better job this time. Any other type of job on the planet with this type of thing going on, they would be sacked. But of course, they are rules unto themselves that only abide to them, don't abide to us, or should only abide to us and don't abide to them. The government has been accused of pushing cost of failure onto local people after ministers gave bankrupt Tory-controlled Northamptonshire special dispensation to raise council tax above normal limits to help balance its books. The Secretary of State for Housing, Communities and Local Government, James Brokenshire, announced on Tuesday that the stricken county council will be allowed to raise council tax to 5% 2019-2020 to try and turn around its troubled finances. Well, how about they stop spending it on shit, stop claiming all these expenses, stop giving it away to other companies? No, too simple. No, oh yeah, that way you can't hoist it onto the public again, can you? Although a number of other councils have also asked Brokenshire for dispensation to raise council tax beyond the current 2.99% limit, he said he had rejected their request to protect council taxpayers in line with the Tory manifesto. Oh, Piers. It's not about the money where kids are concerned, is it? Adoption agency caught illegally registering births goes into voluntary liquidation. In other words, we're making a killing at it. An adoption agency in Ireland, which was found to have registered births illegally, has gone into voluntary liquidation. So they're just going to walk away scot-free. St Patrick's Guild's liquidation, which was announced in December, comes 7 months after the Department of Children and Youth Affairs confirmed that the agency had been responsible for 126 births being illegally registered between 1946 and 1969. So it's been going on for a long time. So they must have made a fortune and now they're just going to walk away. It's great when you can do that, isn't it? Of course, though, if it was you or I, no, you pay your consequences. When courts are closed in numbers like this, people are denied justice. First of all, there is no justice in these courts because these are administrative courts, and administrative courts are unlawful under their own rules. But nobody seems to care. They just carry on with it regardless, you know. Some people face a 3-hour trip to have their case heard. Others have no legal representation. Even judges are calling it hell. Courts are strange places. Some, like Snaresbrook Crown Court in East London, could be mistaken for the outside for a stately home. A grand listed building set us up beside a lake. Once inside, though, there's no mistaking its status as part of the unloved criminal justice estate. Low ceilings, headache-inducing strip lighting, threadbare furnishings, yeah, they're all the same. Santander to close 140 branches, putting more than 1,200 jobs at risk. Spanish-owned bank Santander to find new roles for a third of the UK employees affected. Santander plans to close nearly 1 in 5 of its bank branches in the UK, putting more than 1,200 jobs at risk. The Spanish-owned bank, which was one of the largest high street networks in Britain, will shut 140 branches, leaving 614 after the closure, which will be completed by the end of the year. Santander said it expected to find new jobs for about a third of the 1,270 employees whose jobs at risk. Closing them down. Need closing down though, all of them. 10 children are found dead in Tanzania with teeth and genitals cut off to be used in witchcraft rituals. 10 children found dead and their bodies mutilated in southern Tanzania. Children aged between 2 and 10 had teeth, tongues and genitals removed. It is believed their body parts have been harvested to be used in witchcraft rituals. 10 young children have been kidnapped and murdered in southern Tanzania and their organs harvested for witchcraft rituals, officials say. The victims aged between 2 and 10 have been kidnapped from their homes in southwestern Nairobi region since the beginning of the month. The children had a number of body parts removed, including ears, tongues, teeth and sexual organs. And that's what they're trying to bring over here. Labour MP Fiona Onasanya will be paid salary in prison. Yeah, you heard that right. An MP that's going to prison for criminal activity is going to continue to get her wages as an MP. Actually, you shouldn't be surprised. All MPs are corrupt, and this one's just even more corrupt because she got caught. Fiona Onasanya has become the first female MP to be jailed after she lied about a speeding ticket, but is refusing to quit Parliament because she wants to keep her salary, a court was told. The disgraced former Labour MP, who now stands as the independent member for Peterborough, was yesterday sentenced to 3 months for perverting the course of justice. She will continue to receive her salary of more than $77,000 while in prison. MPs are automatically forced to step down only if they receive a jail sentence of over a year. See, you can get away with anything if you're an MP. I was arrested by armed police for saying no shit to a cop. A father claims he was arrested and taken to court for saying no shit to policemen. Rob Warner, 45, says he was trying to pick up his daughter from her school when he couldn't find her. Mr. Warner of Elverston says he became angry with school staff that she was missing. A nearby police officer attempted to get involved. Mr. Warner said, the officer said, "I can see you're angry," to which Mr. Meyer says he replied with "no shit." No action was taken against Mr. Warner, a freelance legal advisor, until 3 weeks later when he received a letter asking him to attend a voluntary interview with police in relation to a breach of the peace order. When he did not go to the interview, you don't have to, he said he received a postal summons to magistrates court some weeks later. Now, we're going to name and shame some of these scumbags. Well, all of them actually. Heidi Allen, Kenneth Clark, my MP, paedophile. Justin Greening, Dr. Philip Lee, Sir Nicholas Soames, Mr. Edward Vasey, Guto Bebb, Jonathan Deangley, Dominic Grieve, Oliver Letwin, Anna Soubry, Sarah Wollaston, Nick Bowles, George Freeman, Sam Gyamack, Antoinette Sandbach, Andrew Stevenson. 17 Tory MPs voted for Cooper Brexit wrecking amendment. Through Cooper's amendment to stop no-deal Brexit and delay the UK exit from the EU failed, 17 Conservative MPs disgracefully backed it. They are, and it just gives you the names. Deselect them. French growth slows over anti-government protests. Paris French growth slowed in the fourth quarter as anti-government protests hit busy business activity. The Eurozone's second biggest economy grew 0.3% in the fourth quarter, down from 0.4% in the third quarter. The INSEE Statistics Agency said in the first estimate for the period. The French slowdown is a sign of how the Eurozone is facing economic headwinds fueled by anti-establishment sentiment. Italy has clashed with Brussels over its budget, and French President Emmanuel Macron is grappling with weekly demonstrations by protesters clad in yellow reflective vests and movement known as the gilets jaunes. Mr. Macron is pushing French deficit above the EU mandated 3% limit of gross domestic product in his effort to mollify protesters with public spending. It's all bullshit. That's what it is. French police, weapons under scrutiny after gilets jaunes injuries. Government facing calls to ban riot police use of explosives. You want to see what they've got planned? You look at France. The French government is under growing pressure to review police use of explosive weapons against civilians after serious injuries were reported during gilets jaunes street demonstrations, including people alleged to have lost eyes and to have had their hands and feet mutilated. France's legal advisory body, the Council of State, will on Wednesday examine an urgent request by the French Human Rights League and the CGT trade union to ban police from using a form of rubber bullet launcher in which ball-shaped projectiles are shot out of specialised handheld launchers. France's rights ombudsman has long warned they are dangerous and carry disproportionate risk. Tories have also petitioned the government to ban so-called sting ball grenades, which contain 25 grams of TNT, high explosives. But they won't do anything because they're trying to make the French stop protesting by injuring them, beating them, causing all this. This is a criminal government. Where's the outcry? Why are other countries saying, stop this? You know, if it was Iraq, Afghanistan, anything like that, oh yeah, they're sending the army, sending the navy, sending the air force, send everyone. But because it's an EU member state, they can do what they like. Well, under the EU law, they can do what they like. That's why we need out of it. Update 2, Yellow Vests put French government on spot over power prices. Proposed increase would be the highest in years. Comes as France grapples with protests over cost of living. Government has 3 months to respond to CRE's proposal. EDF shares up 3.4% on top performance of index. Adds CRE document ministry company blah blah blah. Paris 30 Reuters. France energy regulators is proposing a 5.9% increase in regulatory power prices, but faces opposition from the government, which had promised not to increase the cost from the Yellow Vest protest. Following the first wave of protests in November over the cost of living, the government scrapped fuel tax hikes planned for 2019. It also said last month that it would prevent utility EDF from raising power prices this winter. But capping regulated power prices is more complicated, as these are set by the independent CRENG regulator. Independent, which means they're not independent, they're working with the government, so it's all smoke and mirrors. This is just bullshit. They just keep you. Macron regime and French police under fire for brutality after lost eyes, hands blown off. Violent clashes between the police and Yellow Vest protesters have caused many injuries, including the loss of eyes and hands, and led to claims of police violence, including from a top European human rights official. Hundreds of both protests and police have been injured in the clashes, according to government figures, so you can trust them not. 1,700 people have been injured and 1,000 policemen or gendarmes have been hurt in the 11 weeks of conflict. One of those injured, 100 have been seriously hurt and 11 people have now been killed. You want to see what the New World Order looks like? That's what it looks like. Police officer stole £65 from dead man's wallet, then tried to cover it up. A policeman who allegedly stole money from a dead man's wallet is set to go on trial. PC Paul Wallace, 47, is accused of taking £65 from the wallet belonging to Paul Rutter on about June 5th, 2015. The homicide policeman is also facing a second charge of perverting the course of justice. See, they're all corrupt. Tories plan to strip holiday pay, workers' rights, employment pension contributions after Brexit. EU Brexit Minister Dominic Raab in 2011 suggested that after Brexit, UK should allow employers to force employees to work more than 48 hours a week, abolish minimum wage for all under 21s, abolish right to time off for training, holidays, etc., allow employers to opt out of pension contribution of their employees, allow employers to fire workers at will without recourse to tribunal. Dictatorship. Wise treason made former Brexit Secretary Dominic Raab and other top Tories so hell-bent on hard Brexit. In 2011, Raab said in a policy paper for the rapidly right-wing think tank, the Centre for Policy Studies, that holiday pay and minimum wage, maternity leave and pension contributions for British workers are all straitjackets for British business and should be scrapped, all of which are currently guaranteed under EU regulations. Dictatorship, slave, that's what it is. Express, think it's freezing here, America's even colder than the North Pole. Health revolution to give patients better all-round care as doctors at doctor surgery. NHS recruits 20,000 to end GP crisis. And the parasite with a belly bag strapped to her stomach. Aye. MPs demand crackdown on tech giant to protect young. Yeah, they never do anything for our benefit. Abroad, the gravy train. Investors cream off 200 million from Britain's broken railways. Cracks appear in EU as May seeks deal. Polish MPM and a senior German politician urge Brussels to break deadlock and avoid the hard Brexit. There is genuine determination in Europe to avoid Britain leaving EU without a deal. Say note number 10. Yeah, because they want us tied in. Regeneration or backstop is not on the table with One's Dublin. Corbyn fears Downing Street is running down the clock on Brexit. UK will pay into Europe for years to come under Brussels' plan. Escape from the collapsing caliphate. Family speaks of it life after ISIS. Paltrow claimed and Sky's code of conduct. The scum. Exclusive. Home targeted. Kylie in 909 stalker terror. Star calls cops on scary oddball. Yeah. PM digs in heels on Brexit demand. Yeah. Absolute waste of time. So speaking of waste of papers, the Star. A picture of a dog, something to do with rugby. Snowflake Britain 2, Mr. Don't Tickle. Russell Brand, it's invading kids' space. What a waste of, in fact, that's the two that have been absolute waste of time. The Times. Universities named and shaved over unconditional offers. May woos Labour at PMs with cash to back Brexit. The Manchester Airport, I think. No such a blockhead robot master Jenga. Not such a blockhead robot master. The Guardian. ASBO style orders to tackle knife violence. Fatal stabbing 17-year-old latest victim in the capital. Zimbabwe army raped and murdered civilians. May urge to set out her changes to the backstop. Absolute nothing in the papers. Mirror. Parasite. Snow. Football. Out of touch. Farce of knife crime. ASBOs. Home sex plans to tackle soaring murder rate slaughtered by gimmick. As gimmick. Telegraph. Web giants face legal duty of care for children. Baby, it's cold outside. US shivers in -30 chill. Javid, I worry for my daughter amid rise of street violence. May's own negotiator warned her against going back to EU. Pharmacists to cover GP appointments. Was champagne an English invention? Champagne an English invention? I don't know. Maduro warns Trump of a new Vietnam. Metro. Brussels, we won't budge. Well, just piss off then. Venezuela, Vietnam warning to Trump. Dead footballer, first plane wreckage found. Facebook paid kids and then spied on them. Youngsters asked to download app that lets staff see their messages. Parasite and something else, I don't know. Anything but independent. Brexit debates are utterly pointless. Tony the Tiger is guilty as charged. The general talking of Netanyahu should be in jail. England cricketers seek restitution. Whiteout. Snow sweeps sub-zero Britain. Tory truce crumbles in row over Brussels talks. Ex-minister criticised Mays for making a stupid mistake. Financial Times. US-China talks intensify. Fed sues Wall Street by signalling hold on further interest rate rises. Juncker says prepare for worse as UK gambit raises odds of disorderly Brexit. Be a video out later with that secret I was telling you about. Yeah, it'll be a bit later today. I've got a load of stuff on, so obviously got to finish this and get this up, and then do that one and get that up, and there's another one. So I've got to put 3 videos out today actually, but just so you know, it will be out today, and see you later.